Hello, sweet dandelions! Today we are going to take the trip to the magnificent Slavic forest and to meet Leshy, the soul and the lord of the forest. Leshy is the keeper of the forest and the patron of birds, animals and all creatures who live in his domain. When you enter the forest, you enter Leshy's kingdom. He isn't a good or bad king. He can be merciful or cruel, depends on the situation. First of all, Slavs would always ask Leshy's permission to enter a forest. When they would leave with gifts of the forest, like berries or mushrooms, it was important to leave some of it at the edge of the forest as a sign of gratitude for Leshy's generosity. If a visitor behaves properly, Leshy will show best spots for the yummy scavenger hunt or will lead to an easy path to exit the forest. However, if a visitor breaks a rule, there is a consequence for that. Leshy can easily lead the noisy one to a deadly path, or to send, or sometimes transform into a dangerous animal to make sure a knowing visitor's destiny ends in the woods. Also, mentioning Leshy in the forest was equal to calling him on. As you can see already, you don't want to do that often. Leshy prefers to be isolated in the depths of a forest, but he frequently appears in different parts of the kingdom, casually checking on local animals, sick trees, and keeping foreign spirits away from his territory. Each forest has its own king, but there is never two Leshys in one forest. The only creature who is able to compete with Leshy power-wise inside of the forest is Vodyanui, the water spirit and the lord of water. I'm going to cover him in the next episode, by the way. Those two don't get along and would always pick a fight with each other. However, Leshy is under direct supervision of Velis, the pattern of cattle, and I do have video about him already. Nobody is aware of Leshy's original look. He is able to become invisible, to change the appearance, size and turn into any living creature or a plant. Some describe him as an old man with wild hair, some as a humanoid with flashing eyes who misses eyeballs and left ear, and whose hair and beard covered in leaves. You never know in which form he is going to show up, because Leshy likes to be in the forest incognito. He has a unique sense of humor and likes to pretend to be unfortunate visitors' deceased relatives. The sign that you see the king of the forest is lameness and sloppy outfit. Leshy still can't figure out how to put human clothes on properly. Once in a while, Leshy suddenly realizes that he is a family man, and this is when women and children go missing in the woods. A missing child would be trained to become a wizard, and a missing woman would become a bride of Leshy. As they say, why not, why not? Leshy is immortal, but not like Kощey. Leshy is a nature itself. However, there is a way to scare Leshy if you notice him being a creep around you. Salt, fire, copper bullets will make Leshy to leave you alone for a while. Additionally, putting all your clothes inside out is another way to out-creep Leshy, because Leshy won't be able to see you with the clothes inside out. All those life hacks will be useful on October 17th, or sometimes 16th, the day when Leshy for unknown reasons loses control and goes nuts, breaking trees and hurting animals in the forest. You don't want to meet him this day. Leshy is mostly isolated inside the woods, but it doesn't mean he isn't able to leave the forest. Hunters and shepherds from villages near the forest would always make a deal with the local Leshy. Forest spirits' favor will guarantee the safety of a herd and a successful hunt. The eve of 24th of June, Ivana Kupala Day, is the best time to make a profitable deal with Leshy that guarantees the safety for the community. Slavs would bribe Leshy with pancakes, pies, a pot of porridge that they would leave at the forest. However, Leshy doesn't go really far from his kingdom. Home spirit Domovoy would protect household members from Leshy's invasion. With time and the decrease of the forest territories, the cult of Leshy started to decline until he became only a part of the folklore. Leshy frequently appears in many Slavic tales. He is a significant part of a hero's quest, sometimes helpful, sometimes challenging. But there is an interesting twist. In the story by Vladimir Nabokov, Undead, Leshy immigrated from Russia because his forest got destroyed. During the immigration, he goes to visit a person who he previously scared in the forest. I call it the modern twist. Leshy often appears as a supporting character in Soviet movies and animation. He is also mentioned in a song by Vladimir Vysotsky, "Lukomorья больше нет." Lukomorья is no more. It's a satiric reference to poet Pushkin's tale. The Lord of the Forest appears in many art forms and artworks. Unfortunately, I don't have time to list all of them. However, I have a minute for a few honorable mentions of Leshy abroad. He appears in TV shows Witcher and Supernatural. He was performed by Paris Hilton. The pattern faltered. A glamorous master of the forest and hills. How does she manage to walk in the forest and hills? How? We're never going to find out. OMG. You stayed until the end, an attentive dandelion. Thank you for being with me for the last 6 with something minutes. Are you going to grab the treat for Leshy next time you are going to hike in the forest? Let me know in the comments. If you are subscribed, we will keep in touch. And if you are not, welcome to the dandelion team. Please don't forget about 1000 milestone. We can do it. I will have a few important updates on the way on the channel in next couple of months, so stay tuned. The next episode will be dedicated to Vodяной, the spirit of water. See you later!